All right. Welcome, everybody. Thank you so much for joining tonight's workshop. I am so excited to be chatting with all of you today about transforming your body for good. As you may or may not know, today we are chatting all about transforming your body. Specifically, we're talking about fat loss and muscle building exercises. I'm really excited to be chatting about this with all of you. This is a commonly asked question I get a lot as a registered dietitian, and I've been a dietitian for over 8 years at this point. I'm always getting asked, how do I reduce body fat? What do I eat to increase muscle? And I'm here to chat with all of you about that tonight. I'm so excited. Whether you're joining me on the live call this Monday evening, whether you're watching the replay of this, I'm so excited you are here. This is truly the first step to actually seeing physical transformation. I know so many of you are here because you put in the work at the gym, you want to see physical changes, and you haven't yet. So today we're going to be talking all about how to hone in on your nutrition. So today, as I mentioned, we are going into this masterclass, which is called Transform Your Body, Mastering Fat Loss and Muscle Building Exercises. And my name is Allison Tallman. I'm a registered dietitian and metabolism expert. So you are in the right place tonight or whenever you're watching this replay because you're frustrated with your weight. You don't understand why nothing has worked. You have tried literally everything. You are good for a few days, but then you fall off the wagon. Or maybe you eat clean and healthy, but you haven't seen the scale move. And something in addition to all of this is that maybe you work out 3, 4, 5 plus times a week and you're not seeing any physical changes. I, as a dietitian who has been a dietitian for over 8 years, I've seen so many women put in the work at the gym and they're feeling frustrated with why they're not seeing results. They're not sure why they're not seeing physical changes. It's actually not the workouts, it is what you are or aren't doing nutritionally. So today we're going to be chatting about all things nutrition. So the three main things I'm going to be chatting with all of you about today is first off, why you're not seeing results. Like what is not working? I'm going to be going into the strategy I recommend as a registered dietitian, and I'm going to be going over action steps to take to start seeing results today. But first, we do have many new names signed up for this live event or for the replay. So I want to reintroduce myself to you in case you don't know me yet. My name is Allie Tallman. I am a registered dietitian and metabolism expert. I've been a registered dietitian for over 8 years. I like to point out that I went to schooling to become a dietitian. So many people get confused about what a dietitian versus what a nutritionist is. I'm a registered dietitian with over 6 years of schooling, and I am constantly doing continuing education. So I went to Cornell for my undergrad for 4 years. I went to grad school to get my master's degree. I also did my dietetic internship. I passed my board exam. I do ongoing education to be a dietitian. So, if you don't know the difference between a dietitian and a nutritionist, dietitians have to undergo specific schooling and licensing and a board exam and all these different things. There's a lot of different regulation around it versus the nutritionist. Anybody can call themselves a nutritionist, for example. So I like to point that out before we get into the topic for today. At this point, I've worked with over 1,000 women to transform their health, body, and life without dieting. So all the women I work with don't track, they don't count calories, they don't count their macros, they're not doing any of that. And it's ultimately using my signature 3M method where we focus in on your mindset, mindfulness, and metabolism. So, some things I believe in as a registered dietitian, I believe in individualization. No two bodies are the same. So, none of your nutrition plans should be either. So, while I am giving nutrition information and education for all of you today, I want you to really think about what is going to work best for you. I believe in total flexibility and balance. You truly deserve to live a life that you love, which includes enjoying food wherever, whenever. So, being able to go out and enjoy patios and happy hours with girlfriends while still reaching your goals, still being able to go out for your anniversary dinner with your husband and staying on track. I believe in total transparency. Nutrition and knowing what to eat can be so confusing. Many of you are probably here because you're on Instagram or TikTok and there's so much misleading information out there and you're feeling confused on where to start. I'm here to make that very clear and straightforward. I also believe in life-changing results. Women who join my program, they join because it is the last thing that they have to invest in nutrition-wise. And I check in on clients who worked with me literally 2, 3, 4, 5 years ago and they're still able to follow their plan. They are still able to see results and stay on track. If you want to learn more about my 3M approach, 3M method, where it is unlike anything you've ever done before, it's unlike any diet. It's literally so different. You can head to that QR code that is right there, scan that, and watch my program video after this workshop, and you'll learn all about how my approach is unlike anything you've ever done before. So today we're talking about fat loss, muscle building, a little bit of weight loss. I always like to add this in, my general thoughts on weight loss. I get a lot of questions about, if I'm anti-diet, do I believe in weight loss? I don't believe in tracking, counting calories, macros, using my Fitness Pal, anything like that. However, I do understand wanting to feel good in your own body. So I am not anti weight loss by any means. I understand wanting to feel good in your own skin. I understand wanting to feel good in your body. So I'm able to help my clients to lose weight, but to do so without counting, to reduce body fat, to increase muscle without feeling like they're glued to their phone using my Fitness Pal or macro counting. So, you are here to reduce body fat and increase muscle. Some things you have probably struggled with. You have maybe restricted yourself. Think about the times that you've restricted yourself, saying, I'm not going to have any sugar, or I'm going to do this diet. And that just leads to overeating. Maybe you've overeaten in secret before. Maybe you hate the way you feel in your body. Maybe you feel constantly hungry. Maybe you've followed a strict diet plan that makes you so anxious, feeling like you can't go out to eat, making you feel like you can go out and enjoy yourself. You are on this constant weight roller coaster. I heard someone today call it like a binge cycle where you are restricting and then eating a lot and your weight is just constantly fluctuating. Maybe you feel guilty and shameful for what you're eating. Anytime that Monday rolls around or Sunday evening, you look back at the weekend and you feel guilty for what you've eaten. And some things you've probably tried to eat more protein. You've probably tried eating cleaner or eating like less processed food. And you've probably tried to eat less or maybe eating low calorie or avoiding sugar or telling yourself I'm going to eat less carbs. So maybe you've tried some of these things. And working with so many women who want to feel their best, feeling more confident in their body, and constantly trying to do those things where they're eating more protein, where they're trying to eat cleaner, they're eating less processed foods. I had this aha moment where I thought to myself, there has to be a way where we can combine all the different steps to lose weight, to reduce body fat, to increase muscle. And that's why I truly developed my 3M approach because, for example, making sure you're actually eating the right amount for your body, making sure you're not only eating enough, but making sure you're navigating things like sugar cravings and dining out and traveling, making sure that you're not feeling guilty and shameful and you're ditching that all or nothing mentality and that you have a healthy relationship with food because truly you need all three of these things to see results, to see long lasting results. Otherwise, if you're missing one of them, maybe you can lose weight, maybe you can reduce body fat in the beginning, but it's just going to come back on. So that's ultimately why I developed my 3M approach was instead of just having it be a quick fix, something that is really doable and sustainable and something you can actually continue to see results with. So healthy eating in terms of reducing body fat, increasing muscle, it is not a low calorie diet. It's not only eating like approved food, so having like a approved list and a not approved list. It's not being perfect, and it is not a strict diet plan. Instead, it's balanced. So yes, you're eating enough for your body. Yes, you're eating things like protein, but you're also able to still eat carbohydrates and still eat foods that you certainly love at the same time honoring your nutrition and nourishing your body and fueling your body. And healthy eating is also fun. One major reason why I went into nutrition, for example, is that food literally connects all of us around the whole world. Think about when you have anniversaries, birthdays, when you have holidays with your family, all of those things, you're able to be with each other and it's always around food. And I became a dietitian not only because of that, but because food also helps you to nourish and fuel your body and prevent disease in the long run and helps you to reach your goals. So let's dive into some of the things we're going to talk about today. First off, why you are not losing weight or increasing muscle. So why you're not losing weight or why you're not reducing body fat, why you're not increasing muscle, you undereat. Maybe you eat well during the week, but you fall off track on the weekend. Maybe you do whatever diet for a short amount of time and it's not sustainable. Maybe you don't eat the right nutrients for your bodies in your goals. You're eating inconsistently likely. I talked to a client today who she was eating very inconsistently. When we were chatting, she was saying, you know, I sometimes eat this for breakfast. And I said, well, why sometimes? And she said, well, other days I skip breakfast. This is a new client of mine. So I was looking at what she was doing. And you're not able to reduce body fat or increase muscle if you're eating inconsistently. And you're not able to if you're not in tune with your hunger or fullness. So what I mean by that is if you are always finishing your plate, you're probably not paying attention. You're probably overeating, for example. If you are having these arbitrary food rules where you are telling yourself, like, these are good foods, these are bad foods. If you're telling yourself that there's good foods and bad foods, then you're likely not going to be able to reduce body fat or increase muscle because once you are around those bad foods, you're going to feel out of control and you're probably going to overeat it. And same thing goes with restriction is that you're more likely to overdo it once you restrict yourself, for example. So all of these things are things that you could be doing a mixture of or maybe one or the other, but these are very common reasons why I see individuals not losing weight, not reducing body fat, and not increase muscle. And one major reason is that diet cycle that so many individuals are on. So this is from R Delicious, I took it from, but basically the diet cycle that so many individuals are on, they think, well, I need to lose weight. I hate the way I feel. I hate the way I look. I'm gonna like not eat carbs. So they go on a diet. You have these strict food rules. You tell yourself, I'm not gonna eat carbs. And then what happens? You have increased craving for carbs. You have a stressful day and you're like, crap, I'm gonna eat carbs because that comforts me. And you overeat it and you break your food rule. And then you feel shameful for what you did. Your metabolism sucks again. And then you think, okay, well, X person at work told me about Y diet. So I'm going to do that now. And you're just constantly in this cycle. So that is why mindset is a key phase of my program is to help you to get out of this dieting mentality, essentially. And my client, Michelle, she was the same exact way. When she first joined my program, she told me, I tried diet after diet. I lose the weight at first, but I can't keep up with it. I'm exhausted and still end up hating the way that I look and feel. And after my program, she told me, she said, I'm down over 20 pounds and feel amazing. I have no doubt I can keep up with it too. And that's because she was able to first focus in on her mindset and give herself permission to break out of that dieting mentality. Oops. And a huge major reason why so many of you are not able to lose that weight, even though you do work out, or a major reason why you're not able to reduce body fat or increase muscle, and because think about it, and I want you to reflect on this as you're listening to this, you don't have an actual plan in place. And maybe you're doing general things. You're telling yourself, I'm going to eat more protein. I'm going to eat lots of veggies, eat clean, eat less processed foods. These are all fabulous things, yes, but you actually have to be way more specific. Everyone who's in this room right now, all of you have very individual nutritional needs. You can't just say, I'm going to eat more protein or eat veggies and expect to see results. And that's a huge mistake I see individuals making is just doing general things where sometimes they do it, sometimes they don't. And I always like to give examples. My client Mary was the exact same way. So she worked out at I believe it was Orange Theory. She worked out 4 times a week and she said, I'm not sure what I'm doing wrong. Something must be wrong with my metabolism. And this was not even at the end of the program, it was during it. She said, I'm down 8 pounds so far. I'm liking the plan. It finally gives me the confidence I've been looking for. So this is because she actually honed in on her nutrition and wasn't just working out. And like I said in the beginning, you have to do the right thing with your nutrition. You can't just work out and expect to see results. Another one of my clients I was talking with today, actually, she was saying, when I was 18, I could just work out and work it off and I could eat whatever I wanted. As we get older, you have to focus more so on your nutrition. And a perfect example of that is if you are working out, maybe it's 1 hour, maybe every day, maybe 5 days a week. What are you doing the other 23 hours of the day? Not that you're eating for 23 hours, but you're around food all the time. So the strategy I recommend to reduce body fat and to increase muscle is you need something that's sustainable. So I want you to think about like whatever plan you're on now or whatever you're doing, red flags to look for, like what is not going to work. If whatever you're doing is very restrictive, will not work in the long run. You'll come back to me 1 year from now and say, hey, Allie, I can't keep up with this. Same type of thing. You can't keep up with it forever. You can't go out to eat or on vacation. Think about that. Like if you can't go out to eat or go out on vacation on your plan, how often are you going out to eat or going or traveling? Probably a good amount. You all are all busy who are on this. And it's going to have a big red flag if it's adding more stress or that feeling of overwhelm to you. So some things to do. So mindset wise, I want you to think of how you can put foods into all foods are neutral instead of good and bad categories. So no foods are off limits. All foods can fit, and ditch that all or nothing perfectionist mindset. So I want you to think of adding back in foods that were previously off limits and find eating habits that are actually manageable. So not all in or all out, and reflect how dieting has not worked for you in the past and remind yourself about that. Second thing is mindfulness. So mindfulness is when you're putting yourself actually in a natural calorie deficit, and you're able to do this without counting calories by incorporating mindful eating strategies. So some things you could do for this would be being in tune with your hunger and fullness cues and feeling in control around food at all times. So eating without distractions, paying attention to how food is making you feel. And another one that people don't think enough about is actually eating slowly and chewing your food thoroughly. I want you to reflect on why you're eating something. Why are you eating X food? Why are you eating Y food? Is it because you're actually hungry? Are you craving it? Think about those things. And then for your metabolism, your plan needs to be something that is enjoyable. Otherwise, you're not going to be able to be consistent with it. For example, my clients can go order pizza, but still stay on track. It has to be something that is doable. And as I said earlier, it can't just be generalized. It has to be something that is specific to your nutritional needs. Some things you could consider, although all of you here do have different protein needs, is eating at least 20 grams of protein at all meals. Again, all of you, it will vary, but this is a general statement. Focusing on high protein snacks. High protein snacks aren't a 4-gram protein bar. It is going to be something that has at least 10 grams of protein. And I want you to think about starting your day with protein as well. And this was really interesting. My client, Erica, she came to me. She worked out like 5 times a week. She was eating so much protein. So she told me, she said, I'm eating 100 grams of protein and working out 5 times a week without seeing any changes. I don't know what I'm doing wrong. And after my program, she was down 4% body fat and her clothes were fitting looser. And that's because she was actually eating the right amount for her body. She wasn't just eating lots of more protein. So as I said, it's not just about the protein. I will talk about protein. Yes, protein is important, but you need to make sure you're honing in on more specific things like eating every 3 to 4 hours, eating plenty of healthy fats, eating enough fiber, and being consistent, truly being consistent in what is the most important things. Some general things to think about in terms of your workouts and what to eat. I want to encourage you to eat carbs before your workouts and eating carbs and protein after your workouts. Both of these things are really beneficial to not only maximize your workout in and of itself, but also reduce recovery time to improve muscle building and fat loss strategies as well. In terms of your meals, you want to aim generally for half plate fruits and veggies. So as you can see here, this is generally what you want to be doing. A quarter of your plate be protein, a quarter of your plate be carbs, and then dairy, which is like where I'll say like just fat would be. You want to think of dairy or fat being on your plate as like a little condiment jar, for example. And here are some specifics. So take a screenshot of this or come back to the replay. These are really foods that I do generally recommend. I mean, everyone here would have different nutritional needs, but here's a list of foods that I recommend as a registered dietitian. I'm not going to read through all of these because all of you can read them, but these are some specifics. So I want you to think of how they would fit on this plate, for example. So something I do with my clients is help really tell them exactly how much to be eating, but without feeling like you are counting out your protein or counting out your veggies every day, for example. But these are some great things that you could all incorporate in your diet. So as you can see here, these are all crucial pieces of the puzzle. And I'm not just talking about protein. Healthy fats are important, veggies are important, and so are carbs. So let's talk about some action steps. And just as a reminder, I will be taking questions at the end. So if you guys do have any questions, I would love to answer them for you. So, some stats for you: more than 160 million Americans are on a diet at any given time. 95% of diets fail, and most will regain their lost weight within 1 to 5 years. So, think of like the next diet you've tried, you're more than likely to gain all that weight back. Now, if you're not seeing any physical changes, you're very likely to be doing one thing wrong, something related to your mindset, mindfulness, or metabolism. One of the things I've mentioned today. And as I said earlier in the beginning, it's not the workouts. It's your eating and whatever you're doing nutrition. And I want you to reflect right now. Are you truly seeing the results that you want? Are you where you want to be? So common mistakes I see individuals making, like I said, is I'm just eating healthier. I see individuals not eating enough. So you're actually underfueling your body and that slows down your metabolism. I also see people being very inconsistent. They're able to do really well for 2 weeks, but then week 3, they're stressed, they emotionally eat, they're on their period, and they have that all or nothing mentality where, well, I ate that piece of cake last night, so screw it, I'm going to do whatever the rest of the day. Also, speaking of inconsistencies, I want you to think of how you do during the week versus the weekend. You maybe do really well during the week and the weekend rolls around and you say, like, screw it, I'm going to do whatever. That's a common mistake I see individuals making as well. And my client Samantha, she was the exact same way with her weekend eating. She was super consistent during the week, but when the weekend rolled around, she was so inconsistent. And she was like, I literally have no plan. And she felt like she couldn't go out to eat and enjoy time with her friends because she felt like she was going to gain all that weight back. And she started over every Monday and she felt guilty and bloated and low energy. And after my program, she lost 10 pounds. She never felt more free from dieting. She said, Ali showed me a plan of how to lose weight while still going to happy hour with my friends. I'm more confident than ever. And that's something that is so important to me for my clients and for all of you, is to be able to enjoy life and be able to enjoy the things that you like to do truly. So if that's happy hour with your girlfriends, if that is dining out with your partner, whatever it may be, I want you to be able to enjoy those things. And whatever nutrition plan you are doing right now, it needs to be something that is doable in situations like that. So, your action steps: I want you to first off look at what and how you eat now. So, look back, for example, at that food list I showed you earlier. Look back at the common struggles and mistakes that people are making. I want you to reflect and think. Number 2 here, figure out what's not working. Like, is it something related to your mindset? Is it something to do with your mindfulness and mindful eating? Is it your metabolism? Is it a combination of all 3 of those? I want you to think of the things, and then I want you to plan to target that specific area. So, say it is your mindful eating and you're finishing your plate every time. Like, let's make a goal surrounding that and set small, specific goals related to whatever struggles you were having or gaps you think you were missing, and plan to target that specific area and do so in a way that you can do it and be consistent. And outside of just the number on the scale, and these are all strategies we talked about today for muscle and fat, I want you to think of other things too, like how your clothes are fitting and bloating and energy levels and mood. Think of all these other things as well. These can help to keep you motivated and to keep you accountable with your nutrition goals. And, in order to really be successful when it comes to your nutrition and therefore seeing fat loss, seeing muscle building, you need to make sure that you are focusing on a specific plan for yourself. Having full clarity in how much to be eating and not just doing the general things, having support, having accountability. You are already putting the work in at the gym. You deserve to see success. You deserve to feel more confident. I want you to think of how you want to feel 3, 4, 5 months from now. Where do you want to feel by the end of the year at this point? Where do you want to feel? Think about that. And if you absolutely have no idea how much to be eating, if you literally lack a plan and you're just like winging it, if you've tried every diet, if you feel stuck and like nothing will work for you, I want you to think about this. Like, what is going to change? What is changing? If you don't make a change in your diet and your eating plan and your eating habits, you will continue to stay stuck exactly where you're at and exactly how you're feeling. And if you're ready to actually see movement on the scale or on the in-body scan with your body fat, or just see physical changes looking in the mirror, then that's exactly what I do inside my breakthrough program is I provide you with that individualized plan that gives you clarity in what, how much, and when to be eating. Not only do you get that plan, we talk about foods and recipes, and you get support, you get accountability, you get troubleshooting. And what I mean by troubleshooting, before I take questions, is, are you a stress eater? Are you a bored eater? Do you travel a lot? Do you dine out a lot? Like specific life situations that are specific to you and your life and your family. And why it works, it's because my method is based on simple science. It makes it easy. It teaches you what to do, but it also holds you accountable. It's personalized and it focuses on fitting this plan into your lifestyle versus you trying to fit your whole life into some little diet mold. And now, before I take questions, which I'm excited to hear them, if you're feeling skeptical that you can see results without tracking or counting calories because that's all you've known before, I want you to take it from these past clients. This client recently, she lost 15 pounds. This other client, I said, I feel sexy. I'm not insecure around my husband. I don't have as much belly fat. I'm feeling less puffy. I'm stronger and leaner than ever. This individual said, I love the way I feel. I have more energy and no bloating. My clothes fit better. All of these individuals didn't count calories. So if you're ready for your individualized plan and you want to reduce body fat and increase muscle, then scan that little QR code, watch my program video and apply. And we can go over options. We'll make sure it's a good fit for you. And don't stay stuck with where you're currently at. Think about how you want to feel and exactly where you want to be 6 months from now. Think about how you want to feel the end of the year. I want you to think about that. And before I take those questions, I always get asked about what those options look like. Applying does not like lock you in or anything like that. Applying just starts a conversation. We go over your goals and we'll discuss what those options could look like for you. So let's take some questions. I would love to answer them. If you wouldn't mind putting them in the chat box. Okay, someone just said, what protein powder do you recommend and when should I eat protein powder? So protein powder can definitely be incorporated. I eat protein powder occasionally myself as well. The protein powder, if you head to my website, which actually I was going to put the application in here. That is where my program video is. But if you head to my website under resources, there is an Amazon link, and I do have like protein ideas and snacks and things on my Amazon page. But in terms of protein powders, it depends what your like goal is. Really, I actually typically end up recommending different protein powders to different individuals, but Orgain is typically a solid one. Vega Protein is another one. I like Needed collagen protein powder. I like as well. And then the follow-up question that came through was about how much protein to eat, or when to eat it, I should say. Protein powder can be consumed whenever. If you're having a meal that doesn't have protein, then I would recommend eating something with protein powder like during that meal. You could also consider, you want to make sure, as I said earlier, eating protein after workout. Ideally, you want to make sure that you are eating 20 grams of protein within an hour of working out. So that would be, that could be like protein powder if that's going to be easy for you. Some individuals, they like putting that just in like water or in almond milk after workout because it's like easy. So it's ultimately up to you. So someone asked, how long is your program and what does it cost? So I recommend just applying and reaching out there because I have different options for working together. So what I do is we'll create something custom for you. So in terms of like costs and options, we go over all those different things. I do have options pretty much for every type of budget. I've worked with college students who have very limited budget. So, the last thing I want is for cost to truly hold anyone back. So I have different options. So I recommend just applying there, and we'll create something that's custom for you. That being said, I also do create custom payment plans. I also have financing options. I work with like PayPal financing, Affirm, one as well. So, and HSA and FSA. Someone said, what tips do you have for people that really like sweets? So when I have clients who love sweets, the first thing I look at is, are you eating enough during the day? Typically, individuals who are having really intense sweet cravings, they are not eating enough protein or fiber or healthy fats potentially. So you're not eating enough of those during the day. The second thing I look at is kind of like the why you're eating it. I find that many women eat sweets because they are bored. Um, they are stressed or emotional. So they're using it as like a coping mechanism, or it's just out of habit. So I look at that. And then in terms of, how to navigate those things, first off, making sure you are eating the right amount, two, figuring out the why, and then finding some healthier options and kind of kicking that habit. My clients, some of my clients are still able to stay on track and lose weight while eating chocolate every day. So it's very individualized to the person, I would say. But for you, I would reflect on if you're eating the right amount. I'd reflect on when or why or how often. Um, and then I would think of like when you're enjoying it, and then think of like some alternatives. So, for example, I love like Greek yogurt and making it like a sweeter option with like fresh fruit, especially this time of year. I do, as a side note, have a smoothie guide this time of year. My clients love doing like smoothies as something sweeter. So if you are wanting something that is like sweet, but you can still like have protein and whatnot, if you just DM me on Instagram, I can send you the whole new smoothie guide that I have. So just shoot me a message. Um, okay, someone said, what about if you want to lose belly fat, but just maintain muscle as opposed to actively gaining more muscle? So in regards to maintaining muscle, not gaining it, you actually just want to make sure you're focused less so on protein. You still need protein to maintain the muscle, but there's not really as much of a emphasis on that like post-workout protein. The post-workout protein is really to make sure that you are building muscle, you're repairing those muscle fibers that you use during a workout. So if you're wanting to reduce body fat, you would ideally want to not you don't really need as much of that. So essentially you're putting yourself in a natural like calorie deficit. You also, this is totally dependent on the person. You might want to incorporate a little bit of cardio, because that cardio has been shown to be great for fat loss versus strength training is really great for muscle building. So that's something to consider as well. Um, Someone said, do you have any tips for perimenopause, nutrition or exercise wise? So it really depends on the person, in terms of any like symptoms and side effects that you are having. For example, right now I have numerous clients who are in perimenopause and menopause, and they are all undergoing different things, I should say, nutrition wise. So it does depend on the person. I would say making sure you are truly not only eating enough protein, but eating enough healthy fats and fiber is very, very important for perimenopause. Eating every like generally 3 to 4 hours and starting your day with at least 20 grams of protein for breakfast is very important. Um, Lastly, not eating super late at night. And then in terms of exercise, incorporating more strength training is very important, for building muscle for that. Um, Someone said, can it be customized? Oh, can the plan be customized to mostly vegetarian focused meals? Yeah. So when I work with a client, I ask what allergies you have, what type of diet you follow, if you're pescatarian, if you're vegetarian, if you're vegan. And I actually have a lot of vegetarian clients. I have some vegan clients. I have someone who keeps kosher. I have many individuals with different needs. It's very individualized. So, for example, I had a new client start last week who is allergic to both nuts and seeds. We're not including any nuts and seeds on our plan. So it is very individualized to what you need. So for example, one of my clients, she's vegetarian. She just finished the program and she lost 28 pounds. Another one of my vegetarian clients who she's still working with me. She's down 6 pounds right now. So long story short, as we make it work, we're going to focus on specifics for you. Someone said, what are your thoughts on creatine post workout? So, creatine is something I get asked a lot about. Creatine can help build lean body mass. However, you need to, it's only going to work if you are taking it every single day, if you are timing it around your workouts appropriately, and if you're doing like HIIT training. It's not really going to be the best for like strength training necessarily. Now, research does show that you can't just work out and take creatine though in order to see results. You have to make sure that you are eating the right things as well and eating the right amount. So for example, I had a client who was working out 5 times a week, taking creatine, was not seeing any results. And we made tweaks in her nutrition, and she was able to literally within 2 weeks already reduce belly fat. So there are many more specific things that anyone who's debating taking creatine, I'm not against it by any means, but I can promise you, you can't just take that and expect to see results. You're just gonna be wasting money. Good questions, you guys. All right. Is- Um, Someone said, do workouts like Orange Theory raise cortisol? No, so workouts at Orange Theory, I love Orange Theory workouts. I love that they incorporate strength training as well. In terms of like how often to be doing any of those types of like high intensity workouts, it's dependent on the person. I don't know, whoever asked this question, I don't know about your like specific regimen, how often you're going, what your goals are, anything like that. I will say there is research that shows over exercising increases cortisol. So that's something to consider with any type of high intensity. That's where you're hearing that is from over exercising. So working out at Orange Theory X times a week may not do it, but if you're overworking your body and putting your body in that stressed state, then yes, it can raise your cortisol, but it is dependent on the person in terms of the type of like exercise that will do it. That's why I look at exercise when it comes to like my clients, is because we want to make sure that whatever your goals are, also however old you are, you need to make sure that you are doing the right exercises for that. So hopefully that makes sense. Any other questions? Mm, Someone said, where do you accept HSA or FSA? Where can I learn about your program? So if you watch my program video, and you can apply at that link. It literally takes like less than a minute to apply. It just gives me a little more info about you. We can talk about all of the options that I have working together. I have a bunch of different options, and even go over like insurance and what that would look like. So you can just head there. I put the link there. Now, if anyone has any questions outside of this today, would love to answer them. I'm always here to answer those questions. You can email me at info@nourishedroots.com. I also have a website with tons of free resources. One of them, for example, is my new summer smoothie guide that has like protein packed metabolism boosting smoothie recipes. If you want that, that is not on my website, but you can just shoot me a DM on Instagram at Nourished Roots right here. Shoot me a DM and just say, hey, I was on your workshop. I want your smoothie recipe. Um, and I can send it your way. Any final questions as we are wrapping up? Looks like I answered all that. Well, thank you everyone so much for joining me. If you were on this live call, I appreciate all of you. If you're watching the replay of this, then thank you so much. Please let me know what questions you have. Please shoot me a DM. I would love to send you the smoothie guide recipe, and I hope everyone has a wonderful rest of their Monday. I'll talk to you all soon. Thank you.